I'm pretty good at this. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
Third year?
No, fourth
year.
Hello again, people at home and around the world, live again from, well, I guess we're in the same space as we've always been, the Noman green screen hangar inside the Noman store. And I'm Louie Tucci here on behalf of Pixelogic Day. We're into the final day here of the ZBrush Summit. It was an incredible day yesterday. It was day 2.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the ZBrush Awards?
I mean, it's amazing, I guess. We work with Daniel a few times, and we are very happy for him.
Yeah, Daniel Bell.
Yeah.
Two-time. Let's count him. Two-time winner. But let me tell the people who you are first and foremost. I'm sitting here today with XM Studios artists, craftsmen, and master sculptors, Martin Augusta, and Ianto, or you can just call him Harry, Hatmaja. So I did not mess that up this time, Paul. Black belt Louie on the way. It's fair enough to say that XM Studios, you're off the foothills of a great presentation before we get talking about the party and all of last night's festivities. Yeah, no, thank you. It's nice to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to see you guys. Thanks for making the journey.
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to say, XM Studios is responsible for making what has been touted as handcrafted luxury collectibles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The
pop
quality,
culture collectibles.
Pop culture collectibles, absolutely. The licensing is some of the most famous brands on the planet.
Yep.
Keep growing. And he says it's going to keep going. Let's just be sure to share the microphone here. The quality and the details are at the highest level in the industry. It's fair to say that. And
Thank you very
XM
much.
creates licensed collect. I'm going to give a little spiel here about the company. It creates licensed collectibles that include the likes of DC, Marvel, and Star Wars, to name a few. I want to say that it's there's one in particular piece that I'm quite upset about. It's the sold-out Venom.
Oh.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to get over that one because that was a really robust piece, really wonderful piece.
Are you a collector as well?
Yeah, of course. If you knew me before in my office at Pigs. Yeah, the
talking
big,
about the bus?
the big one. You know, the big,
Super.
yeah, the money one. Yeah. That one's gone, long gone. I have a tremendous collection. You were mentioning actually, Ianto, if we can give you the microphone.
Sure. All right.
You mentioned your affinity for the Generation 1 or G1 Transformers. Let's talk a little bit about that. And you're a collector of the Generation 1 Transformers.
Yeah. I collect a lot of toys. Same with him actually.
Okay, so both of you.
So yeah, it's really a dream come true for me to be able to work on this. Actually, it started from the, on the last Thai Comic Con, Thailand Comic Con. I did some simple sketch of Optimus Prime.
The Thai Comic Con.
Yeah.
Swadee krap.
Yeah. So yeah, during that time, on my free time behind the event there, I did some simple sketch of him.
3D sculpt, right?
No,
3D
it's just a plan using a pen, not a pencil, using a pen. And during that time, the boss the director saw it and say, "Wow, this is not bad if we can redesign our Transformers G1 style with the more intricate detail on it." I mean, why not? I love to. I mean, so okay, let's we'll talk more about this later. So yeah, after a few months, and there we are. We have a Hasbro license to build the entire Transformer lines.
Yeah, that's the big one. The Hasbro license is the big one. They were here. I don't know if you saw them a couple of years ago. If you were watching, we had them here live on the floor. They did a presentation for us. I'm always a fan.
Incredible.
Everybody who knows me knows I'm a Hasbro junkie. I have a very robust GI Joe collection. Speaking of Hasbro toys,
G.I. Joe.
I mean, every figure from 1982 to 86 in my collection, hidden away somewhere. I actually have the twins, Tomax and Zaymod, in the package still. Now I'm sounding like the 40-year-old virgin here. They better not reveal too much. The G1, I have the reissues, all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, all of the G1 reissue in the package. And so, yeah, I have a robust collection. But the crown jewel, as we talk about toys here, are my Secret Wars collection from 1984, Mattel.
Awesome.
I even have the European mint in the package. Yeah, I have Electro and Iceman and Constrictor. And a two-pack, which is very rare, as we wax poetic on this topic. We could talk all day, right?
Well, you are more true collector compared to us then.
Oh, man, no, I'm telling you, it's like a museum in my office. I have the two-pack of Captain America and Doctor Doom. You would be very hard-pressed to find it, near impossible. I wish I had it here. I would show it to you. You've probably never seen it. Yeah, they're both in the package. So that's amazing. I want to say, let's take it back to Martin for a second. You were a sculpt-off contestant in this year's sculpt-off. Very big challenge. Actually, both of you, Martin and Ianto, were competing against each other.
Yeah.
The blood feud from Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Teammates turned into
siblings rivalry.
Siblings rivalry. It's like the Ken and Ryu.
Yeah.
What was it like to be in this year's sculpt-off?
I think it's a very interesting feeling because you will feel very privileged, of course, with the rest of the guys, which is very amazing. But you feel the pressure, of course, and you want to do your best within 3 hours. Then, but overall, I think it's been amazing. It's great, and yeah, I think it's a once in a lifetime experience, right?
Yeah. What about you, Ianto? What do you think about this?
Well, I'm really happy to be able to join this sculpt-off event. So it's actually for us since it's the first time we try to have fun with it. Even like actually it's quite nervous in the room when do the competition. But it's kind of funny when they're in Singapore, we able to show our exercise, our training.
You have a training regimen. These guys are serious. They had a training regimen. You were training for this.
Yeah, to train how much we can achieve
of course.
for 3 hours. So it's kind of funny. We keep like commenting, giving feedback each other
back
for
and
that.
forth, right?
So yeah.
Valuable experience. That's a valuable thing to be in that room with those guys.
Yeah,
And
like
gals.
I said just now, it's like this won't be the last.
Yeah, it
We'll
is a
try
super
again next
privilege
time.
because you see other people doing stuff and you think, whoa, man, it's a very intimidating experience. I commend both of you. I want to commend them and all of the participants in the sculpt-off. It was a tremendous thing. Today we're going to be talking about the winner. Later on today. Here we go. Okay, so Martin, back to you for a second. You studied at the Universitas Bina Nusantara, BINUS, and received
BINUS.
a bachelor's degree in IT.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
so you're a long way. Describe that for us and how you got into this. You're 10 years of experience now. How did you get started?
Yeah, so when I went to university, right, I study IT because not much options for graphic artists. It's only like graphic designs, not much on the 3D side. It's probably just a few people's gathering and then this computer club, those kind of side activities thingy. There's not actual course to take for 3D. To take it seriously, like let's say Gnomon School, we don't have those kind of things back then. So I just joined. I just study IT because that's basically the only options they have. But at the same time, also I think I quite like seeing this 3D art out there from the forums and from the internet, and I try to learn by myself and. Trying to see the tutorials out there and then try to implement it through my own work, doing a lot of personal work and sometimes challenges. I think during that time, ZBrush was just recently out, I guess, probably. It's around, or I just started using it and I got to love it actually.
Maybe like around version 3, perhaps.
Yeah. It's
around version 3 is 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, about 10 years ago, somewhere in the realm of version.
Yes.
Version 3.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. So Heriantu, to come to you, you have also a very impressive situation. It says here that you, well, I did the research, of course. You studied at the Medan Institute of Technology, ITM, and your area of interest at the time was technical engineering and architecture?
Architecture, yes.
Yeah, architecture specifically.
I
We have
still
that in
love it.
common. We have a lot in common, me and this guy. This is interesting. Okay, so tell us about that architecture background and how that affects your
Well,
your
actually,
process.
yeah. Since I'm young, I really like to do drawing. Actually, this idea to study in architecture is from my dad. Why not
Yeah,
try,
same here. High five, right?
High
Yeah, it's
five,
my
man.
parents. They're like, maybe you should just be an architect. Yeah, you could be a serious artist.
Yeah, I think it's if not, if I never study there. I don't think I even sit here now.
Fascinating. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, until now I still like about all architecture stuff. Even though previously before I joined XM Studios, we worked in Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was going to say both of you have worked together before, right?
Yeah.
So
So I stay as a environment artist for quite some time there, building environment, building and stuff, and I still love it until now. I miss that type of that
So you would say that your background in architecture actually allowed you
Yes.
to step into games, because you do have you also have an impressive list of titles under your belt. You worked on the Assassin's Creed titles, Ghost in the Shell,
Yes.
Tekken 7, and countless others. So as an environment artist is where your games industry experience was not just limited to environments, your environments, characters, and 2D concept art. You've experienced working for Bandai Namco and Ubisoft.
Yeah.
It's pretty fair to say. You know, this has obviously helped you to make a transition into collectibles.
What do you mean?
Like you had an easier transition from going from games and such
Well,
into
actually,
collectibles,
even though
right?
that time I really enjoy my experience on the those 3D environment stuff, I train myself to about all those organic characters,
You trained yourself to do those things.
robots, and all mechanical stuff. And it's kind of, I don't know, feel like sometimes I'm a bit confused why it seems like I like everything. I like to do everything. Seems like, yeah, even do the doing some technical thingy like coding to make like 3D printer just now I told you.
Yeah, I want to frame that for the people at home again. In case you missed that part of the presentation, so Ianto has coded and made his own 3D printer. Now, is this a mechanical process
Yes,
printer? So
all those ARM and XYZ you need to control. You need to command them yourself. And
How many nozzles?
how many nozzle? So far one nozzle.
Just one nozzle.
If you're talking about FDM printer.
Yeah, FDM. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
FDM. This is an FDM you made, right?
Both. I did the DLP that something like Moonray have there.
Whoa.
It's pretty much the same technology.
You made your own Moonray,
Yes.
like Moonray has outside. He says he made his own. Wow, wow, wow.
Moonray have 100 micron limitation. I don't have limit. Fine.
Can you say that again? You have no limitation. We're laughing. This guy's made his own
No,
printer.
I can
Paul,
follow.
are you hearing this? This is incredible. For the people at home and the audience here watching, you have your own printer with what? How many micron limitation? None.
I can go down to 30, 50, 100. So far I play around with 90 micron. So it's yeah.
Next year he'll be selling one.
You visit this guy's home. This is in your home?
Nice, keep it secret actually.
Yeah, secret location. Okay, so he's got his proprietary thing going. Wow, this is incredible. These guys are more than meets the eye. In fact, it's not even a joke. Okay, so let's continue here for a second. Martin? What were some of your earliest challenges? You guys are located. I mean, let's be frank about something. You're living in Southeast Asia. It's not exactly historically been known as the center of the collectibles universe, right? Or video games. So
Yeah.
discuss the transition across a decade of work experience. How has that effectively changed?
So based on my work, you mean?
Based on the cultural changes and how the industry has changed for you there
Okay.
over the past 10 years.
Over the past 10 years, yeah. Actually, my first big break was when I joined Ubisoft Singapore.
Yeah.
It's my first professional game company work. So I think we have few game companies in Singapore, and there's a small community out there. So basically, it helps me also to gain the experience and also meet new people, the same CG enthusiasts as me. And yeah, that's basically what you need as an artist, right? You meet people who has the same interest as you, and example is this guy, and then you help each other to advance, basically to get your skills better. Because when I see Harry, for example, making something super cool, and it gets me thinking I want to do the same thing as well. And probably for the my next artwork, I'm gonna do something better. I try to be better than my previous one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I think two of us and some other friends back in Singapore, right? We trying to keep the sense of healthy competition going on. Like we commented each other, then we try to get feedback, and so far I think it's helping us greatly in trying to like advance and then make our skill better. And of course, people in ZBrush community as well. Met so many people out here, and then I just feel that so much thing to learn, right? When you meet all these really awesome artists, basically. Some that I even admire since like 10 years ago. And
Isn't that amazing?
met them. Damien Candeli. I mean, it's
Yeah, Damien
big fan.
Candele was here. He's
Yeah.
the first presenter during the ZBrush Summit this year, and it was an honor to meet him as well. I thought, oh, it's finally in the flesh. You're here.
Yeah.
It's something fascinating for a lot of us wouldn't even. I mean, I don't even know what the stuff would look like if you hadn't. Who knows?
Exactly,
you know,
right.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. It sounds like
Yeah.
you're involved in the real strong growth of a community of artists in Singapore, in the Singapore region.
In
Is it fair
Singapore,
to say that is happening more now?
I'm probably more of a, I don't know, behind the scene guy.
Yeah.
Because I tried to do some community in Ubisoft last time where we get together and then do this kind of art jam session.
Yeah.
Actually, interesting enough, the first team that we choose for our art jam sketch last time was Alice in Wonderland. So it goes back.
Oh yeah, I guess you were ill prepared for the sculpt-off challenge this time, guys. Here we go. Yeah,
Many years ago, yeah.
You had no history of that at all. Do you also feel So Ianto, that the community is growing in the Southeast Asian region, and that you have more people, the more meetups and things happening, and does this event help to push that further?
Yeah. Well, honestly, in Singapore, it's maybe a little slow. It's like so far, like within this few years, it's just keep growing a bit only.
Now it's speeding up, right?
Yeah, but I quite happy because there's some new younger talent out there want to learn more about 3D and make the community become a bigger, wider for this.
So you're seeing that there's a trickle down to younger kind of artists, and there's a lot of new schools. There you go. Yeah, Fengzhu. Okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fantastic to hear that, because I was wondering how that was effectively changing over time. And I imagine that it would be a slow process, but you said.
But yeah, like Martin said just now, I think it's competition still stay as a healthy competition between every single 3D artist there, the community there. So it's pretty much actually like mostly actually it's, more goes to the game industries, all this young talent and stuff. And yeah, it's together we able to build something.
I think the concepts are fantastic. You were kind enough to share some of the 2D concepts. And I think that those concepts are actually very endearing. They were quite robust in the information they're giving for sculptors. But as drawings alone, they're beautiful drawings.
All right.
And those are, you're working with Hive on those, right? Is that correct? Describe that experience of working with such a talented group of people and from a conceptual state.
Yeah, it's actually really the Hive Studio is really giving a lot of big help to us, because not only doing a concept, most of the time they're giving some ideas, cool ideas here and there, a nice pose of the character, a good composition. Because from this studio, I will say Skan Srizuan is the concept artist there. He's very open with any ideas that came from us. He can give back some tens or of new ideas to be able to collaborate with some other element there on the project itself. And yeah. It's really fun. And
it's great to hear you say that. Yeah, it's really great to hear you say it. Last evening, you were obviously present for the speech given during the ZBrush Awards by Sir Richard Taylor from the What a Workshop. You know, he said some really important things. But I think that he did mention at one particular point in his wonderful speech that he, many moons ago, had the pleasure of working with people like Rick Baker, and they were very open about sharing their processes. And so to hear you saying that as well, that's happening, only great things can happen when we we communicate openly and try to push ourselves as a group of people further. You showed the hair example. If I want to come back to you for a second, Martin, how did you come upon that process for the hair? Because there was a few people in the audience. Joe Mena, Cesar DeCall Jr., we just kind of looked at each other and laughed. We say, how much time have you wasted sculpting hair? And you just, in a moment, even Jaime was chuckling. How did this come to you? I mean, how do you...
Yeah, so I mean, actually, some of it is because I was sculpting statue for quite some time, and I have the same problem where basically when you sculpt the hair, it just takes forever. It's very, very long and it's very exhausting, and the end result might not be what you want actually, because there's some inconsistency when you sculpt it by hand, let's say. But yeah, with the latest edition of Curve Brush and ZBrush, it allows us to do things like this, right? And I realized there's also another layer to automate this process by doing the
That was fantastic.
one
fantastic.
that I
I'll be
demoed just
using it
now.
going forward. I'm going to use this.
Cool.
Yeah, save myself a bunch of time.
Hope you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and hopefully my hair grows back as well. I'm growing my own personal hair back as we speak.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about this for a second before I
Sure.
forget. In the presentation, there was a lot of details on Magneto and others that actually harkened back. That's why I brought up the Secret Wars figures earlier. They had this sort of very 1980s
Surface details.
surface details that were very linked back to the 1980s. Was that something that was done in alignment with those designs, or was it an accidental?
Well, it's actually quite planned, and it's with some trial on it. Let's try this one. Is it gonna looks nice on one? And then, in between the detail there is a lining that's stopping the detail to stay on that area.
It's classic.
And not
It's
on
a
the
classic design
next,
element, because it goes
I think
back.
it's like most of the statue companies start to follow this kind of style, this kind of trend. to add more detail on top of the classic look on it.
Yeah.
Which is like it's cool. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's competition to become more
And
more.
natural progression
Yes,
also of
yes.
the characters.
That's why I say just
Yeah.
now it's up the game.
Yeah.
We change the game.
Yeah.
So people start to think, okay, they need to push their detail higher than before.
And it's tough because the characters are so recognized, you know, after all these years now. It's like, I mean, it's 60 plus years. You know, characters like Magneto, if you think about it, you know, 1963, X-Men #1.
Yeah.
It's a long time since 1963, and the character is pretty well established.
I love it.
You
Everyone
have-
love it. Yeah.
And everyone loves the character. The character is one of the most dynamic and one of the...
And because the character also have a very interesting background behind him. That's the
Absolutely.
main thing also.
Yeah, the history of
What's
the character.
selling more is also that one. That's why I integrate many things on the base according to his background.
I noticed that actually,
His past stories. I mean about.
It's really it's really fantastic. Both versions that you
Yeah, as much
demonstrated.
as possible, we try to infuse this kind of idea to bring the story background of the character into the base,
To pay
into
homage to
what
the-
he's doing, the way he's standing. Is all this is maybe in the comic. Is the guy to show his personality. I mean.
There was an adaptation. I mean, there was a sort of a progression rather forward, around in 91, 92. X-Men, Jim Lee, the way he was drawing Magneto was really, really interesting because
Yes.
it took him into this like sort of
Yes, I love
exalted
it, yeah.
state, you know, with the longer hair and such, in a way that had been done kind of in the 80s. But I think his refinement of the character still sees. There's some influence there in the recent piece that you showed, which I was really happy to see as well.
Yeah.
And the transition into the new sort of or the
Well,
fusion
actually,
into the white. Go ahead.
actually, we planning to add one more head that time when we built this Magneto to have the longer hair for him, but we end up maybe take it away because might be too many switch out option we already offer into the package.
You offer an incredible amount of switch up options. I mean, are you kidding me? It's not even a joke. There's like four,
Yeah,
what is
but
it, four right
we-
now. Is it four switch ups with that one?
Yeah.
You have four, right? Four options.
For no, three.
With the head, there was three, right?
Two or three.
But we give two different helmets.
Thank you. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
So I count those as four switch outs, basically. Yeah. So you have four switch outs. When you get one of these and put it on your mantle or wherever you want to put it, you get four switch outs. Hey, another thing before I forget. This is again goes back to Martin. I want to pause for a moment, and I want to give you extreme accolades to you and say your work on the Mysterio sculpture.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say it's probably one of the best representations of the character
Oh, thank you
I
very
might
much.
have ever seen. I mean
Thanks
that.
a lot.
Yeah, I mean that, and it's very tough. Let's frame this for people at home who don't realize this. It's very tough to make a guy who looks like he's wearing a fishbowl on his head cool. It's literally like a ball. Describe that process. It's a really great piece. Let me shake your hand for that one.
Thank you. Thanks. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. In the first time I got this project, I didn't know anything about this guy, but then I do some research, and actually, it's pretty cool, right? As one of the Sinister Six, he don't have any powers or whatsoever. He's just like a stuntman, and then turns into this kind of villain type that use technology basically. Then he shoots this gas that basically make people hallucinate. And we try quite a bit of redesigning because it's always based on comic characters. We still try to retain all the basic elements, like let's say the fishbowl, helmet, the armors, and the green suit. But we also try to modernize it a little bit by adding texturing details, and then also redesigning the armors, trying to make it more looking more modern and more interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a collaborative process also with the Studio Hive that did the concept, and also with my creative director Sang. So we work together. Last time I was still a freelancer, so it's a collaboration work with everyone, and I think it turned out pretty cool. It's one of my favorite
Me too.
stuff as well.
From a comic book collector's standpoint, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
representation of what the character could be.
Yeah,
I think
and a lot of people actually saying that they are thankful because not so many company will make such an obscure character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
and,
too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to have this guy on our statue lineup.
Yeah, inside the
Yeah.
lineup and the overall product offerings, I think it's also quite rare.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, you get kind of like a half bust from time to time of that character,
Yeah,
and you can
yeah,
see it
yeah.
around, but not done in that way. I would also like to say that just the colors, the color quality and the paint.
Mm.
You get, the entire body of work is so well done. The complete,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing and the output is just from the whole studio, you know, from the concept to the completion of these pieces, it is absolutely what the company mantra is that it's a handcrafted luxury collectible.
Thanks.
Yeah, how does that level of quality get maintained across the spectrum from concept to completion? Explain that. Like how do you, yeah, if you can.
Sorry, what is it?
Yeah, the concept, from concept to completion, everything seems so refined. You know, even the concept, it's a loose concept. But it's clear that the ideas are there.
That's what Martin explained just now in the presentation, that there's a lot of process in the middle between the, like, there is a back and forth, like, and also back and forth about the how we gonna make this composition of the character to looks better and better than before. We always ask around, discuss, and then sometimes we ask the collector themselves that what do you think, what kind of version is good for the character is, and do you think it's okay if we push the detail into this extent of details, level of details and stuff like that. And yeah, so far it's kind of I don't know. So far it's like we never really a super classic one. The output of our stuff is we always do.
You can tell, yeah, it's amazing. I like that part of it.
Yeah, it's like we try to put our signature there, like this kind of thing is from.
Yeah, well, you've definitely helped to establish a strong brand. They're giving me the slice and dice from behind. Everything that is plastic has to be faded away here. Day 3, we're finally wrapping it up. I want to say, when venturing off to Bangkok, from time to time, I know I can see the look in your eye. Both of you you do that. You ever make your way to Lumpini Stadium for any boxing matches?
No. I never attend anything.
Yeah, of course, Muay Thai.
I have to at some point.
Yeah, me too. I was in there and I missed it. Anyway, we could talk all day long with these guys. They're very sweet. I want to thank both of them. On behalf of myself, Louie Tucci, I want to thank Martin Augusta and Ianto Khatmaja from XM Studios, producers of handcrafted luxury collectibles for the world over. On behalf of myself again and everyone at Pixelogic, welcome back to day 3 of the Pixelogic Summit. Take it away, Paul, in the green screen hanger.